Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're going to be looking at all the black cards in Hour of Devastation.
So we're going to evaluate them for limited. Like we said before, we're going to see them for Prerelease. In Prerelease you get 4 packs of Hour of Devastation and 2 packs of Amonkhet.
Yeah, exactly. We're reviewed all the cards in Amonkhet, so click on the card on your screen right now to have a look at our set review for those cards. Also, we're going to be reviewing these cards according to our 3-tier system. Tier 1, super strong, bombs, unconditional removal, these cards win you the game. Tier 2, super strong, got a couple of those, push you into the color, otherwise auto includes if you're already in that color. Tier 3, decent fillers, make sure that your mana curve is properly filled out. And of course, all the other cards are either too situational or too bad, so we're going to put those cards aside. Let's get started with the common cards.
So the first common is Without Weakness. It's 1 and a black, it's instant. Target creature you control gets indestructible until end of turn. And it's cycling for 2. I don't really like this card because only thing is you need like a creature that can block and not die and then kill the other one, so then it's a combat trick. Else it doesn't actually pump it, and that's what I don't like about this one. So that's why I want to put it aside.
It doesn't pump it, doesn't give it evasion, doesn't allow 2 things to block, doesn't untap it, it doesn't do any of the other stuff that you really need it to be able to be a decent combat trick. You may think, oh, but I can keep this in my hand, then when I play my 5/5 flyer, then I can keep this open, then I can protect it. Yeah, but other than that, it's not doing anything. So remember, don't only try to focus in the scenario where it is exactly right, try to focus in every other scenario where what it does in that scenario, and usually it doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
Next we have Wretched Camel for 1 and a black. So for 2 mana we get a 2/1 zombie camel. Once again, once again, I don't like 2/1s for 2. Let's see if the ability brings it over the edge. When Wretched Camel dies, if you control a desert or there's a desert card in your graveyard, target player discards a card. Okay, so first of all, it's not when it enters the battlefield. I would like that. That would be much better. It has to die first. I think it's, once again, just not enough to be playable. Just play any other 2/2, I think would be much better. I say put this card aside.
Exactly, because it has to die and you have to have a desert. So
yeah.
it's like,
no. Not good enough.
Scrounger Eternal, 1 and a black. It's a zombie jackal warrior, a 2/2 with afflict 1. So it's a 2/2 for 2, already decent. Afflict 1, always a bit of damage, doesn't matter what happens. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they did decide to go for that 0/4 blocker, then at least it's dealing 1 point of damage every turn. Pretty decent. Next card, we have a Ruin Rat for 1 and a black. So for 2 mana, we get a 1/1 rat with Death Touch. Stay you know, I love me some 1/1 Death Touches.
I know.
When additionally, and for 2 mana, 1 mana for 2 mana, I'm very happy paying that for 1/1 Death Touches. Additionally, when this guy dies, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. So that's also actually quite relevant because late game is going to die, you're going to trade with the bomb, and then you're going to be able to get rid of their Eternalize or Embalm creature that's in the graveyard, and we'll be able to use that. So you're basically getting rid of 2 potentially really good things for just this this 2 mana common. Yeah, I say tier 2, always played in black.
Exactly, and you can, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can trade with a Eternalized creature that hasn't been Eternalized yet, and then they both die, so it's in the graveyard when this dies, so you can already get rid of it. Yeah. So if you block something that has Eternalized, but isn't Eternalized yet, you can immediately get rid of it.
Yeah, pretty cool. So what's the next one?
Lethal Sting, 2 and a black, sorcery, as an additional cost to cast Lethal Sting, put a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control, and then destroy target creature. That's really nice. I mean, you need to have a creature, but you probably have one. It will shrink a bit, but you destroy something, and that is so good. So that's why tier 2, destroy something, yes.
It's always good. If it would just be murder, then it would be tier 1. You do have to jump through a tiny little hoop, but that destroy target creature period is super strong. There's just not a lot of that. You know, so this is some of the best stuff you got. Next card, Marauding Bone Slasher for 2 and a black. So for 3 mana, we get a 3/3 zombie Minotaur. Okay, that is crazy. For 3 mana, 3/3. But it does have a downside. This guy can't block unless you control another zombie. Okay, fine. You're just going to be attacking with it. On turn 3, popping this down. On turn 4, attacking with a 3/3 is going to be a lot to deal with. And the fact that you can't block with it is fine because you're using it to attack in this scenario. It doesn't say it can't block. Because if you have a zombie later on, you will be able to do that. I think it's actually okay filler Doesn't push it into tier 2 because there's scenarios when you can't attack and then you won't be able to block, and that's kind of crappy. But tier 3.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with all the Eternalize, it's the 3/3.
It will stop doing stuff at some point. Yeah.
So that's why tier 3. It's still good, but not as good for us tier 2.
True.
So Grizzly Survivor, 2 in a black, a 2/3 Minotaur Warrior. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, Grizzly Survivor gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So you cycle this card, it gets a 4/3 and even more if you have more. But still, the thing that it, the potential to able to get 4 power is really nice.
Oh.
So that's why you can trade with Eternalize, you can trade with a lot of other big things. So that's why tier 3 good filler.
Yeah, if it would be a activated ability because of mana, for example, that would push it into tier 2 territory. Yeah. But just because of the 2/3 body for 3 is already filler, the incidental bonus just doesn't push it over the edge because you still have to cycle or discard.
Exactly.
Next card, Moaning Wall for 2 and a black. So for 3 mana, we get a 0/5 zombie wall with defender. Okay, and it's got cycling too. Okay, great. So you can get rid of this if you don't need it, which is all the time because you're never going to need this. So basically, it just says this is another cycle 2 card. Don't play it. It's not gonna be doing anybody any good. So you may think, once again, it blocks everything. It blocks the Eternals, but it doesn't actually stop them from attacking, and that is the problem. If it would have at least 1 power, it would do something. You could start double blocking, start actually dealing some damage. But with this thing, they're just gonna swing with their 2/2/2s. And then, okay, one of them gets through. You're not stopping them from attacking, and that's the big problem with this card. So don't play your 0x's.
Yeah, because we like the 2/5/4, but
really good.
Exactly, and this one just the bit of power that extra is just so much of a difference. Even though it's a lot cheaper, but I prefer to pay extra for actually doing something.
Exactly,
and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not gonna be doing it.
Yeah, Torment of Venom. 2 and 2 black, it's an instant, put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature. Its controller loses 3 life, unless he or she sacrifices another non-land permanent or discards a card. So most of the times it will say, put 3 -1/-1 counters on a creature and target opponent loses 3 life.
Yeah.
So, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Put a tier 2, instant speed also. So yeah, tier 2 removal, a bit of extra reach.
Super strong.
Exactly.
Super strong. Yeah. So much stuff. 3 is a lot to be able to put -1/-1 counters on something. It'll kill a lot of stuff, and stuff that it doesn't kill, it'll permanently make it smaller. So that's also not to be underestimated. And the fact that it's instant speed also makes it into a combat trick against the big stuff. Nasty stuff. Tier 2. For a common. Pretty good.
Yeah, it is common. That's so good.
Very good. Next we have Lurching Rod Beast for 3 and a black. So for 4 mana we get a 4/2 zombie beast with cycling for 1 black. Don't really play this card. We don't really like cards that have big power but toughness of 2 or less because they trade with bears, and that they're paying 2 mana for their bears and you are paying 4 mana, and that is just not a great deal. So don't do that.
Yeah, because like we said before with the 4/3 Joe, it will trade with things that are a lot smaller than its own, so that's why just don't play it. Play something else that will trade up.
Exactly, like the next card.
Yeah, Carrion's Creature. 3 in a black, it's a 3/1 zombie bird with flying. It's a good filler, it's a 3/1 flyer. It does a lot of damage, and even then, if it doesn't, it will trade with bigger things.
Yeah,
so, good filler.
I think the evasion is huge. The damage in the air. I love that. I would definitely play this all the time. Decent filler. I'll love it a little bit more if it was 1 mana cheaper, but maybe that's me being a little bit greedy. It's still common after all.
It's always better when it's cheaper. It's always better when it has more.
That's true. Well, I don't know. If the Lurching Rod Beast, I still wouldn't play it if it was 1 cheaper.
True.
Yeah. All right. Next one, Scrounger of Souls for 4 and a black. So for 5 mana, we get a 3/4 horror with lifelink. I like lifelink very much in limited. I think it pushes that extra bit of life swing difference. You know, in this case, if you're dealing damage, you're doing a 6-point life difference in that case. That's pretty big. But it's just not enough to get you over to that tier 2. Why? Because it's got 4 toughness, which means with all the Eternalize and all the other big stuff, it is still going to die and won't be able to be attacking with impunity or winning the game in that sense. But yeah, for 5 mana, I would definitely put it in as a filler card.
Exactly. It's a good card anyways. It's a 3/4 with lifelink, and it will actually do a lot before the eternalize. But yeah, after a while it just stopped doing stuff.
Yeah, well, but still, until then I would play it. Those are the commons. Let's have a look at the uncommon cards. The first of our uncommons is Liliana's Defeat. Now for 1 black mana, we get a sorcery, and it states, destroy target black creature or black planeswalker. If that permanent was a Liliana planeswalker, their controller loses 3 life. Okay, so this is again one of those defeat cards, very situational, just too narrow to be main board playable, so I would say put this one aside. Anything to add? No. Vile Manifestation for 1 and a black. It is a 0/4 horror. Now this guy gets +1 +0 for each card in the graveyard with cycling in your graveyard. So you may think, okay, it's going to be super huge, come cycling and all that stuff. I think it's going to be too situational as well. It has cycling itself, but all in all, you really do not want to be playing your 0x walls because they just don't impact the game enough. They don't cause your stop your opponent from attacking enough. So really put this card aside. It's too incidental, it's too situational that you will actually be able to have a 1/4 or a 2/4 for this. I think it's too risky. Next card is Bane Whip Punisher for 2 and a black. We get a 2/2 human warrior. This is super awesome. When this guy enters the battlefield, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. That is super cool. That means you got removal. It's a removal on a stick. It's able to reduce the size of some of the bigger stuff. And additionally, we can pay a black and sacrifice this guy to destroy target creature that has a -1/-1 counter on it. That is super, super strong. That means that essentially, sorcery speed for 4 mana, it is unconditional removal because you get to put a -1/-1 counter on something, and then we could destroy it by sacrificing this thing. Other than that, comes in, you can kill something with 1 toughness, and then you still have a 2/2 for 3 mana. Super, super strong. Tier 3, right? Very, very strong. Always play it if you're in black. Next card, Doomfall. For 2 and a black, for 3 mana, we get a sorcery. We're going to choose one of these 2 options. Either target opponent exiles a creature he or she controls, or we're going to have our opponent reveal their hand and make them discard a non-land card. And that card is actually going to be exiled. Okay, so for the reason why I don't like this card is because our opponent chooses the creature that they're going to exile. And the problem is it's always going to be the worst thing they've got. You know, when you're using a removal spell, you're getting their best thing, and when you're using this card, you're getting their worst thing. So that's not really great. Being able to have them discard a non-land card from their hand may seem very powerful, but the problem is that it's still 3 mana. You want this to be lower costed for that kind of an effect, and in limited, it's just also not that great. So I'll just put it aside.
Yeah. Next one, Merciless Eternal. 2 and a black. It's a 2/2 zombie cleric, and it's an eternal. It has afflict. It is afflict 2, and its ability 2 and a black. Discard a card. Merciless Eternal gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And I really like that ability because it already has that afflict, so it already does the 2 damage. And when it blocks, you're like, oh, you know what? I'll just discard a card, pump it up. You lose 2 life. You lose your creature, so that's really good. And for 3 mana.
Yeah.
So tier 2 for me.
Yeah, if somebody's attacking you with this thing, you're just basically saying, okay, I'm not blocking it ever. You're just going to be attacking and doing the 2 damage. The problem is then still every card in their hand is a target creature, instant speed, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And that is nasty.
Exactly.
That is so nasty.
So
tier 2 definitely.
Yeah, because
beautiful.
Because if you're kind of low on life, you don't really want to block it, but you also don't not want to block it.
No, because then they'd be like, oh, and I'll just do it, and you'll take 4. And you're like, okay, that's actually way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome card. Awesome art. Great.
Yeah.
Next is Torment of Scarabs for 3 and a black. So for 4 mana, we get an Aura Curse. We're going to enchant a player, and then at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, they're going to lose 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land card or discard a card. Okay. We've had a card like this before. I think it was Return to Ravnica that it was, Stab Wound.
Yeah.
And basically you enchanted a creature, and then their opponent lost, that person's controller lost 3 life every turn. And that killed people so hard during the pre-release and during limited and during draft. It would just, you think, oh, it's just 3 damage, but it's consistent. And that was on a creature, so they could still lose their creature. But this, you're just enchanting their player, and that person's just stuck with it, essentially. every turn 3 damage for not having to do anything is a clock, and it definitely is going to win games. One caveat, with the other card we just mentioned, Stab Wound, it was every single time 3 damage. This one, they can choose to discard a land, for example, that they have to make sure they don't take the damage later on in the game, or sacrifice maybe a land they have on the battlefield they don't need anymore, so they can't stop themselves from dying. But they're losing a card every time, which is I'm actually pretty happy with too.
Yeah, that's why tier 2 and not tier 1, because the opponent still has the choice, and it will actually be difficult to win, like actually win with this, because it will just slow them down.
Yeah, but it will bring them first down to a lot, to very little life. I mean,
exactly, that's why tier 2 is still a really good card, but I don't want to actually put it in tier 1.
No, but solid. Definitely play it if you're in black.
Next one,
yeah, please. Yeah.
3 in a black, it's 3/3 zombie, and for 1 in a black, target attacking zombie gains indestructible until end of turn. So it's a 3/3 for 4, not bad. It attacks. Oh, you block it, sure, make it indestructible. Oh, I have my Eternalize, you know what, I'll make them indestructible. So I really like this one, I just will always want to play it.
Insanity. Just the reason why it's tier 2 is because it doesn't have to be another target attacking zombie. It can just do it to itself. So by itself, the package is already solid. Anything else that you have to draw just makes it even better. So it's solid by itself, and it has extra synergy. So that's cool. And also 3/3 for 4 is nothing to sniff at.
No, exactly.
Then we come to the last of the uncommons, that is Razaketh's Right, and that is for 3 and 2 black. So for 5 mana, we're going to be able to search our library for a card and put that card into our hand. It also has cycling for 1 black. Yeah, it's a tutor that allows us to search the best thing. The problem is that we do spend 5 mana to look for that best thing. We didn't do anything else that turn, so it kind of does slow us down. However, in limited, very often we win the game by playing our bomb, and this one allows us to get that bomb. Essentially being, we're basically getting 2 copies of our bomb by paying a premium 5 mana for that and a card, which may seem like a lot, but it could win you the game quite often if you do have it. So I would say tier 2.
Yeah, and you can also search for remove or anything else.
Sure.
That's why I like this card.
Versatility.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just search for anything you need.
Yeah. Best thing at that point in time.
Yeah.
Solid. Those are the uncommons. Let's have a look at the rares.
So the first rare is Torment of Hailfire. It's X and 2 black. It's a sorcery, a repeating following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless the player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. And you pump it up, do a lot of damage, or it has sacrifice or lose the whole hand. So how much land do you have? 7 lands, maybe?
Sure, possible.
Do it 5 times. That's 15 life, 5 permanents, 5 cards in hand, combination of anything. It's just so great. And if I see this, I want to play black.
Yeah, we're going to build our deck around this to be able to play this. This is definitely a perfect example of tier 1, because you play this, you are winning the game.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
It is. Yeah. Because the last one we said is the choice. That's because it's like one thing every single turn, and now it's a lot of
in one go.
Exactly. In one go, they have to choose to get rid of a lot of things or lose a lot of life.
Yeah. Insanity. This card is insanity. Awesome.
It will swing everything in your favor so much.
Beautiful. Next card, Dream Stealer for 2 and a black. So for 3 mana, we get a 1/2 human wizard with menace. Okay, that's not too impressive. Whenever this guy deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards. Okay, so it's hard to block. So okay, you might say, all right, we're going to double block it, and then you don't have to discard any cards. It's annoying if you do have to discard 1 card, so it's okay. It's a pretty decent card. But it also has Eternalize for 6, which means that it's going to be coming in as a 4/4 with menace, and then if they do get through with 4, you got to discard 4 cards. That is redonkulous. So I would also put it in tier 1, because once you play this card, they're going to have to get rid of it. They're going to have a lot of ways to block it, otherwise you're winning the game. And even if they do block it and kill it, because after all it's got toughness 2, so it will die easy, they're going to be in a hell of a hurt when you pay 6 mana to Eternalize this thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, with the menace, 4/4 menace is really annoying.
Yeah.
It's so annoying, and it's like, so you have to choose to throw 2 things in front of it, and maybe lose both of them, and then maybe trade like 2 bears. So sure, yeah.
Yeah. And what if, for example, they have a 2/2, but they also have a 4/4, and that's all they have? So instead of being able to throw 2/2 in front, they have to throw their menace. Oh, their 4/4 eternalized creature and their 2/2, and they use Shuka. I'm gonna trade with the 4/4, and then they lost that thing, their best thing.
Yeah, and if they don't block, it's 4 damage, and they have discards.
They don't want
cards.
that. Yeah.
No, so they have to discard the whole hand.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Also very, very strong.
So
yeah.
tier 1.
Absolutely.
So next one, Marauding Eternal. 2 in a black. It's a 5/5 zombie crocodile demon with afflict 3. And whenever opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on Marauding Eternal. So that's why it's a really cheap 5/5. And whenever Marauding Eternal deals combat damage to a player, move all -1/-1 counters from it. So if a player casts 5 spells, it will die.
That's not happening.
So it will. So he has to play spells. It has to keep on chump blocking, and at one point he can just trade with it. But attacking with a 5/5 on turn 4 is so strong.
Yeah.
Even if they play a spell, it's still a 4/4.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4/4 most likely. Yeah. But still, you pay 3 mana for that 4/4, and they have to block it.
Yeah.
They have to block it.
And they have to play a spell, and they have to keep on doing stuff to get rid of it.
So much pressure, and if you just get through one time because they think, okay, I'll leave my 2/2 blocker, because then I can kill it next turn, and you know what, you got removal, and you say, I'll just kill your 2/2, and then I attack, and all of a sudden it's a 5/5 again. They're gonna be like, oh my god, I lost my creature, and the thing's back to a 5/5, and I'll never get rid of it. I think it is super nasty, and even if they are chump blocking all the time, they're still taking that 3 damage for a 3 mana spell. So that is pretty cool.
Yeah, with the flick also just so nice. It
Nasty.
Chops and then still does the damage.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. Then we move on to Bontu's Last Reckoning for 1 and 2 blacks. So for 3 mana, we got a sorcery. It is going to destroy all creatures and lands that we control don't untap their next untap step. So this is part of that cycle where our stuff doesn't tap, where we basically lose a turn, essentially. But of course, this is so cheap that if you play this late game, you probably will be able to play this, and you'll have enough mana to also play a creature, so you're not going to be that far behind. And of course, destroying all creatures is, we've talked already before, board wipes are insanity in limited, super strong. I would always play it tier 1. I think it's going to win you the game if you're able to do this, play this late game.
Yeah.
Like if you got like 6-7 mana open.
It's always only a 3 mana board wipe, and after that, you just play whatever, and you're already in front of the
Yeah, but try and play this when you can also play a creature on that turn. Don't play this on turn 3, for example.
No, exactly. Turn 3, you won't actually do much anyways.
No, like you lose a turn on top of that, and they're gonna be back on top. Don't do that. But the late game, that's super sweet.
Yeah. Hour of Glory, 3 in a black, instant, exile target creature. If that creature was a god, its controller reveals his or her hand. Exile a card from it with the same name as that creature. So the second clause won't actually do much in limited, but exile target creature, instant speed, 4 mana, tier 1. It's just unconditional move for instant speed, play it. It
doesn't get any more unconditional than this.
No. And it is exile, so so you get rid of the gods, like it said before, and get rid of Eternalize and Balm.
The whole shebang. Yeah, the whole shebang. Super powerful, and of course it's got an awesome Scorpion God, giving another god back rub. So that's pretty nice, right? Nice little massage going on there. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's going like, you got this, bro. You got this. You got it. Come on. You show him who's boss. All right, next card, Apocalypse Demon for 4 and 2 blacks. It's 6 mana. We get a demon with flying. Its power and toughness is X. And where X is the number of cards in your graveyard, period. You don't have to look at the card types like Delirium. You don't have to look at the creature types, the number of creatures like Lurgoyf. It is literally just the amount of cards. Super handy. You just count the cards. We got a lot of cycle. That means this card can be pretty big. However, at the beginning of your upkeep, tap this guy unless you sacrifice another creature. So this card was tier 1 before that clause. Then it went tier 2, and then it went back down to tier 3 because of the fact that it doesn't do anything unless you're able to sacrifice a creature every turn, which means you're probably, there's not tons of tokens, which means you're probably going to be losing a card every turn. The flying is nice. It's a tricky card. It's a tricky card, absolutely.
It is a tricky card, especially for 6 mana flyer. you will probably have a big flyer. And but what I don't like is that I sometimes just have games where I don't have any cards in my graveyard until late game.
Yeah.
And then when I play this, it's a 1/1, 2/2 or something like that for 6 mana, and then I have to sacrifice something or tap it. So
too dangerous. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, you want to play creatures, but do you want to sacrifice a creature to this every single turn?
Probably
and
not,
I don't
no.
think so.
No. So this is another one of those cards where in a specific scenario it is incredibly good, but there's a lot of scenarios where it's not that good. However, the power that it has when it is good is so good that it actually does make it playable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's tier 3. That is the last of the rares. Let's have a look at the mythics. The first and only black mythic card we've got is Razaketh the Foul-Blooded. Now for 5 and 3 black, so that is a whopping 8 mana. What do we get for that? We get a demon, pretty cool. 8/8 Flying Trample. That's already crazy. Limited, it just does not get more powerful than that. This is crazy. This is crazy powerful. Additionally, as if it wasn't already good enough to be tier 1, additionally we can pay 2 life. We don't have to pay any mana. We just pay 2 life, and then we get to sacrifice another creature, and then we get to search for a card in our library, put it into our hand, then shuffle our library. So tutors, we're going to kill the worst thing we got and tutor for the best thing in our library. It doesn't even have to be a creature, it could be removal. It turns all our early drops into the best stuff in our library for just 2 life. I don't even have words for it. It's so good. I'm shaking. It's so good. I don't even know how to describe how powerful this is. This is tier 0.5. It's higher than 1. What do you
Is
think?
there also a tier 0 then?
No, there's not. But I'm just making it up now. I'm calling it.
If you see this,
you're playing black.
Play black.
Yeah.
Because it will search for anything you need without paying mana. You have to sacrifice a smaller thing. You can get bigger things. You can get removal. Everything you want.
Yeah. You play this together with blue, and the blue is just all your fillers and digging stuff to dig for this guy.
To be honest, you don't even need to search for anything. You can attack with an 8/8 Flying Trampler.
Yeah, and I'm saying you dig for this card.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
play.
yeah, maybe like even the second ability, you don't actually need it
so
because you're
beautiful.
attacking with an 8/8 Flying Trampler.
It's amazing.
So much.
You know what you can then play? You can play the instant spell that gives your creature indestructible, and then you just put it in, and then instant speed when they try to remove it. Then you can sacrifice a creature, dig out that indestructible thing, play it, and then protect it. I think it's pretty sweet.
That is actually pretty sweet.
But the problem is this card, any card becomes super sweet with this. That's the thing. It's just so incredibly powerful. I don't think we can say anything more about it.
No, because all the narrow cards is like, oh, I'll need it this time. Sure, I'll just get it.
Amazing. Okay, great. Razaketh does work. That is the mythic. Let's go to the conclusion. In conclusion, I'm incredibly excited about black. Black is so strong in this set. It's got, as we saw already, the mythic card is crazy, of course, but the rares are also all super strong. The uncommons are really good. I love the commons as well. It's got whatever you want, except it doesn't have a lot of evasion. That's the only thing. It's got a few flyers. It's got some menace stuff. You know, it's not too strong on that, but the stuff that it has is so incredibly powerful. The removal is good as well. The creatures are solid. I love it. I love it in every aspect. It does everything you want it to do.
Yeah, I always love black, if you haven't noticed yet, but it's just so great. And we have tutors again, and we have the removal. There are not really, like you said, much flyers, like 3 of them, and only 1 is common, so the other is rare and mythic. So yeah, you're not gonna bank on that, but still removal, good creatures,
afflict,
tutors,
afflict.
Yeah. So black is good.
Yeah, I think black is so flexible with the different kinds of things it does that you could have another color maybe where you have some really good bombs you want to play, and then you can mold your black cards around that strategy. You could go aggro, you can go more control, you can do whatever you want with black. Of course, granted, you open up the right cards, but it has so much potential. It has so much potential. And there's just a lot of value in there as well. I really love it. Stephen, you got anything else to say about black? I mean, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Try and play
black.
Play black if you get the good cards, obviously. Also join us on Facebook and Twitter at Budget MTG Decks. If you don't agree with us, if you think black is no good, if you think we evaluate some of the cards wrong, please let us know what your opinion is. Let us know how what your logic is behind it. We love to have discussions about these cards. After all, no one's played with these cards yet, so it's all still in the air, still just our opinion. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for the most powerful decks and advice everyone can afford. Also, if you do subscribe, hit that little bell button so you'll be notified when the next video comes out. If you don't hit that little bell button, YouTube doesn't let you know when a new video comes out. You're subscribed, but you don't get to know, so that's kind of annoying. So just press the little bell button, and I guess that's it. So thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And this was Budget MTG Decks.